start the session by chanting Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arhatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arhatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arhatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Page number 140, Guide to paragraph 18. The triple mind element. The five-door adverting consciousness and the two kinds of receiving consciousness, collectively known as the triple mind element, take all five kinds of sense objects. So, take all five kinds of sense objects, visible form, etc., since they arise in all the five doors, right? So the triple mind element, this is the first time that we are sort of coming across this sort of this term. So make sure that you have a star or something to demarcate that this word is something which is new. The remaining sense sphere resultants, these resultants, the three investigating chittas and the 8 resultant chittas, take all kinds of the sense sphere objects presented at the 6 doors when they occur by way of registration. Again, these same resultants, excluding the investigating consciousness accompanied by joy, take the 6 objects freed from doors when they occur as rebirth, bhavanga, and death consciousness. I'm going to read that again, right? If anyone does not understand anything, please make sure that you do sign to us that you do not. These resultants, right? These resultants, which is referring to all of the resultants except the triple mind element. These resultants, the 3 investigating chittas and the 8 resultants, meaning the 8 resultants of the beautiful, right? 8 resultants of the beautiful, great resultants, take all kinds of sense sphere objects presented at the 6 doors when they occur by way of registration. Again, these same resultants, excluding the investigating consciousness accompanied by joy, take the 6 objects freed from doors when they occur as rebirth, bhavanga, and death, right? Now, Mala and Damsiri brought a question with regards to this part, right? They are fighting at home apparently because of Abhidhamma. There is no peace at home. So when the peace is disturbed, they call me. All right. But this is an important point actually. Please note, now we have the chittas that become patisandhi, right? Now forget about the weaker, let's go on to the stronger, right? The great resultants. The great resultants, when they arise, or if it is taken as patisandhi, can do the patisandhi krutya or the function of patisandhi in 2 ways. One is a powerful way and the weaker way, right? One is the powerful way and the weaker way. When it takes the powerful way, right, then it would arise associating the great resultants that it initially took object of. If it arises in a weaker manner, it arises as a ahetuka resultant without joy, meaning equanimity, right? This is because, understand, in the process or at the time of death, right? It is a very fragile state of mind. Fragile not because it can be easily broken, fragile because the senses, the body can be at a very weak state. And when it is at this sort of a state, the mind cannot decide. Rather, it takes what is presented. Because of that reason, it does not ever become joy, meaning the joy, sukha, santirana, does not arise as the patisandhi. It is always the upekka. It is always the upekka. Why? Because when the mind is as weak, because anyways you're going to come into, or you're going to fall into the ahetuka patisandhi when it's weak. And when it is that weak, it is never going to be able to decide on a joyful object. It's always going to fall on a rather indecisive and upekka, right? Something quite plain, if you understand the way that I'm approaching it. It's something quite plain. And that is why it always goes on to upekka, right? Now, this is not explained. This is not explained in the why, as to why this happens is not actually explained. It is in the commentary of Lady Sayadaw that Lady Sayadaw gives his take on how this happens, right? How it happens. That is probably why when both of you were sort of trying to look for an answer, you couldn't find it, right? Because it is actually not explained why. It just says that this is the way it happens. Lady Sayadaw gives his take on it, and that's where he says because of the weakness, right? Because of the weakness. So please note that, right? Even if it is a patisandhi, which happens with the great resultants, the mind, this is where the meditation and your practice and your strength of mind comes into play, right? That is where it comes into play. That is why it is important, as I always tell you, you must be sick of hearing this from me. Do not fear death. Do not, you must be sick. Pushpa me kamula ata tiyaganna mama mema kiwwama. Do not fear death. There is, because it is going to make the mind weaker, right? It is something which needs to be faced in a way that it is an experience, it is an endeavor, it is something that is inevitable and something that you cannot forego, right? Something like, for example, you don't want to go to the doctor, but you have to go to the doctor. You know, Bhante, how the Malaysian, who was that senior Malaysian monk who established the Malaysian Mahavihara? Bhante, yes, Malik, how the Mali, why you can't see the button?
We had to read the lips.
Yeah, read. So, I forget the name, but he says,
Kirinde Dhammanand. Kirinde Dhammanand. Nayaka Hamdru.
Sri Dhammananda Thero. He gives his lovely sort of talk in Malaysia. He says, when your passport is expired, you don't keep it in the cupboard and say, no, I'm not going to renew it, right? So when you have grown old, when your knees and all of these things are not working, death is an experience that gives you a whole fresh body, right? And it is like you're sticking with the old passport without actually extending your passport. A new experience, travel new lands that you have not seen, right? It is actually, in actuality, it might, of course, Bhante was jokingly talking about it, but in actuality, that is the real way to face death, right? The real way to face death. For such a person, that is why in the Mettani Sansa Sutta, it says a person with metta, because a person with metta does not have this fear, right? That is why a person with metta does not, the chances of such a person going to hell is sort of reduced drastically, because this person has an openness of mind. The openness, the quality of openness of mind keeps a person from falling into the hellish realms, right? To the hellish realms, allowing the person to now flourish. This kind of a person, when there is metta towards oneself, because if one truly does have metta for oneself, one will not fight it, right? Now in Abhidhamma, these small points direct us to the proper understanding of how we should face this inevitable truth, right? Inevitable experience. Now moving on, right? The smile producing consciousness of arahants also takes all 6 kinds of sense sphere objects, right? Now sense sphere objects, what are we referring to? Anything that is taken in by the 5 sensory doors, right? 5 sensory doors. Then the unwholesome, etc. The 9 supramundane states, the 4 parts, their fruits, and nibbana. So the 9 supramundane states, which are the 4 parts, their fruits, and nibbana, right? And nibbana, because of their extreme purity and profundity, cannot be apprehended by any unwholesome chittas, nor by wholesome and functional chittas devoid of knowledge. Metana, what it means by devoid of knowledge, right? Devoid of knowledge, that is an important point. Devoid of knowledge. So even if you are asked a question and you say cannot be, but you don't mention the devoid of knowledge, it is wrong then. You must mention devoid of knowledge, right? Moving on. Now we have any questions up to here, Padma? No? Okay. The unwholesome, no, the sense sphere, wholesome, etc. Worldlings and trainees cannot know the path and fruition consciousness of an arahant, since they have not attained these states themselves. These 2 chittas, Susan, we are on page number 141. These 2 chittas remain inaccessible to wholesome sense sphere chittas associated with knowledge that arise in their mental process. We have discussed this. Hari, we have discussed this already, right? Because arahant, and even with regards to higher supernatural powers, right? For example, like mind reading, right? Cannot be done. Now, for example, a sotapanna or a person who is a stream enterer with the ability of mind reading cannot read the mind of an arahant, right? It has to always be done by someone more profoundly experienced or equal, right? More profoundly experienced or equal. Moving on. The path and fruition, okay, we have done that. Okay. The path and fruition chittas of trainees are inaccessible to the chittas of worldlings. The path and fruition chittas of trainees at a higher stage are inaccessible to the chittas of trainees at a low stage. The wholesome sense sphere chittas associated with knowledge can know the path and fruition chittas as nibbana, as well as nibbana. When trainees review their own supramundane attainments, these same chittas take nibbana as object on an occasion called change of lineage or gotrabhu, immediately preceding the arising of the supramundane path. Meaning, when you attain to a state of enlightenment, we know we attain to enlightenment 4 times, or the potential to see or attain enlightenment remains to be 4 times, right? Afterwards, at the moment one attains to enlightenment, one experiences, or there is a change of lineage that happens from a mundane to a Arya. This is referred to as the Gotrabu. Gotrabu, I have used this word before, right? Immediately preceding the arising of the supramundane path. When this happens, one can visit that phala again and again at one's own convenience and choice, right? At one's own convenience and choice. There is something to understand here with what was mentioned before. The Gotrabu signifies that one's mentality has now arisen, right? It is that reason why now this person at one's convenience can attain to that enlightenment state, that state of enlightenment, right? That state of enlightenment. If that person, if that is what the Gotrabu symbolifies, that it has arisen beyond a mundane state. Continuing, the wholesome direct knowledge consciousness. The direct knowledges, abhinya, are types of higher knowledge accessible to those who have mastery over the 5 jhanas. 5 kinds of mundane direct knowledge are mentioned in the text. Supernormal powers, the divine ear, knowledge of others' minds, the recollection of past lives, and the divine eye. These knowledges are acquired through a special application of the 5th jhana chitta. Wholesome in the case of worldlings and trainings, functional in the case of arahants. By the 3rd direct knowledge, trainees must with mastery of the 5th jhana can cognize the path and fruition of trainees on a level equal or lower than their own, but cannot know the path and fruition of those on a higher level. Understood? Right? So you can know if you have one of these abilities of, as I have mentioned, to read the mind, you can read the minds of people who are equal or low to you in attainment, right? But not higher to you. This is nothing miraculous. This is the inability to understand and know that mind, because we don't have an experience of it. We don't know the complexities of it. It is as if seeing a color that we have never seen before. We don't know what that color is. We can't understand how that color is made, right? It is something like that, right? Or it is something like tasting something that we have never tasted before. We don't know the backgrounds of it. We don't know the results of it. We don't know anything about it, right? It is somewhat something that we cannot understand. That is the reason why we cannot penetrate into that mind, right? Not because the arahants are having a mental block there to sort of seal themselves from other people. Understood? All right. So the path and fruition consciousness of arahantship is utterly beyond range of the wholesome direct knowledge chitta, right? Wholesome direct knowledge, because it is too pure. It cannot be known by even wholesome, right? The sense sphere functional, etc. By means of the sense sphere functional chittas associated with knowledge, right? Now your mind should go to the chitta chart. The functionals associated with knowledge. And Aharahant can know his own path and fruition chittas when reviewing his attainment. And by the functional direct knowledge chitta, he can know the path and fruition chittas of other disciples, both trainees and arhants. The determining consciousness apprehends the 5 sense objects in a sense door process and all 6 objects in its role as a mind door adverting. I'm going to read that again. Right? I'm going to read that again. Sorry. By means of sense sphere functional, etc., by means of the sense sphere functional chittas associated with knowledge, An Arahant can know his own path and fruition chittas when reviewing his attainment. So Arahant is able to review and know his attainments and achievements. And by functional direct knowledge, chitta, he can know the path and fruition chittas of other noble disciples. Noble disciples meaning both trainees and arahants, right? Meaning people who are less than arahants and arahants themselves, right? The determining consciousness apprehends the five sense objects in the sense door process and all the six. So the determining consciousness can take as object the five sense objects in the sense door process and all six objects in its role as a mind door adverting consciousness, right? Can take as object the mind or everything that falls upon the mind door and the objects that fall within the purview of the five sense doors. Understood? Right? In basic meaning, can take all the objects of the five sense doors and the mind door. Right? That is what it is saying. Right? Moving on. Any questions? Anything that you would like me to repeat? All good? Okay. Among the immaterial, etc. The second immaterial chitta takes the first immaterial chitta as object. The second immaterial chitta takes the first immaterial chitta as object, while the fourth immaterial chitta takes the third as object. Thus, these two chittas take sublime entities as objects. We spoke about this. Why does it happen? It is because of the way the meditation flourishes, the meditation object. Right? Moving on. Thus, these two, all the remaining sublime consciousness, the fine material jhana chittas take as object a conceptual entity, a conceptual entity such as the counterpart sign in the case of the kasinas. The fine material jhana chittas take as an object a concept, right? That is what he's saying. What is the concept? The kasinas, right? How can the kasinas be called an object? Because remember, water, patavi, water kasina, earth kasina, wind kasina, fire kasina, the color kasinas, all of them were material kasinas, circles or whatever that you made it. You were looking at it, contemplating, up until when you closed your eyes, you could see that kasina that you were contemplating on as an image in your mind. Remember, this is called the Uggaha Nimitta or the acquired sign. This acquired sign you polish up in your mind through contemplation. Now that sign becomes a concept, or it has already become a concept, but now you give it a sense of belonging, a sense of identity. It is through that identity that we then break it and go into attaining the jhana. Right? Go into and attain the jhana. Do you get it? That is a concept, isn't it? Right? That is a concept. Does everyone understand? Yes?
I have a question.
Bhante.
What do you mean by identity? Go ahead. This is Susan. Maybe I'll take the next round.
Yeah. No, Susan, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, you said that I give it an identity. So we look at the kasina and we close our eyes and we see the nimitta, and then the nimitta, now we give it an identity, you say? What do you mean by that?
Giving it an identity, what I meant by giving it an identity is we use it for a certain purpose. Right?
Example?
The purpose of the kasina we use is to achieve a state of samadhi. To achieve a state of samadhi and oneness of mind. Right? Now, for example, when we meditate on anapanasati, breathing meditation, body meditations, all these different other meditations, we see colors, right? Colors. We see flashes of color and all of these things. Now, when these colors arise, usually now with regards to, for example, Vipassana, we disregard these colors. We do not care about these colors. We do not think about the colors. Because that is, so here, we are not giving it a purpose or identity. We are just disregarding it.
Okay.
Right?
I need,
In the
continue.
in the tranquility meditations, we look at, or we make the kasina or the nimitta our prime base of object. That is how we give it an identity.
Okay.
Okay.
That's called giving an identity. Okay.
Well, I'm calling it giving an identity, right?
Okay.
Right? Meaning,
because that's the kasina that I do. That's the only meditation I do mostly. Or not only. That's the kasina like meditation is what I do. So that's why I asked you.
All right, Susan. No problem. All right, Damsiri.
Bhante, when you said acquired sign, but in the write-up it says counterpart signs.
Counterpart sign, yes. It's a counterpart sign and then it's the acquired, yeah.
Yeah, because the counterpart is the first one, yeah?
Yeah, counterpart is the first one.
First one, and then you refine that and make it stronger in the yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Where are we? Yes. Conceptual entities such as the counterpart sign in the case of the kasinas, or living beings in the case of the illimitables. Illimitables, remember? Right? Metta, mudita, karuna, upekka.
Yeah.
Right? Illimitables. The first immaterial chitta takes as object the concept of infinite space. The third takes the concept of nothingness or non-existence. This is clear. We have discussed it. This is because of the way the meditation is conducted and done. Right? Moving on. Summary. Paragraph 19. 25 types of consciousness are connected with lower objects. 20 are connected with all objects except the supramundane 5. With all except the highest path and fruit, and 6 with all, thus sevenfold is their grouping. Now this is going on to the groupings that we have already gone through in the table 3.5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In the 3.5, right? In the 3.5. So guide to paragraph 19, 25 types. The 23 sense sphere resultants, right? The 5 do adverting, the smile producing, take lower sense sphere objects only, right? Take lower sense sphere objects only. What? Anyone knows the meaning of this? What does it mean?
Lower sense.
What does this mean? Taking lower sense sphere. We spoke about this before. Taking the lower sense sphere objects. The 23 sense sphere resultants.
Does it mean the 8 sense sphere resultants and the 17 rootless minus the mind though?
Yes, it does. Everything lower than that clump of consciousness or that chart. The chart must be coming to your mind. So now when we take 23, so thank you, Miri, 23 sense sphere resultants. So what are the 23 sense sphere resultants?
Dvipancha Vijnana,
Dvipancha Vijnana.
Sampatichana 2,
Yeah.
Santirana 3,
Yeah.
Great Resultant 8.
Correct. Now, great resultant is the highest one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything lower than that is taken. Now, the all the objects that are taken by the Dvipancha Vinyanas all fall into this, right? All
Okay.
fall,
Yeah.
right? So take the lower objects only, and the smile producing take the lower sense sphere objects only. 6 with the sublime. These are the second and fourth immaterial jhanas as wholesome, resultant, and functional. These are the second and fourth immaterial jhanas which take the first and the third immaterial as object as wholesome. We know that these jhanas, remember the chart, has wholesome, resultant, and functional. Remember, it's 444, isn't it? Right? So that is what it is saying, right? Understood? No doubts? Okay. 21 with concepts. These are the 5 fine material jhanas and the first and the third immaterial jhanas, all considered as wholesome, resultant, and functional.
Yeah. Okay.
These take concept as objects. Correct?
Yeah.
All right. 20, except the supramundane, the 12 unwholesome, and the 4 wholesome, the 4 functional disassociated with knowledge, right? Disassociated with knowledge. They can take, what can they take as object? What can they take as object? They can take everything except the path and fruition as object, right? Why? Because it's disassociated with knowledge, right? Because it is disassociated with knowledge, right? So it can take the mundane chittas, the chetasikas, the materials and concepts only as objects. Why? Because they can't take the supramundane, because no one has attained Nibbana and is disassociated with knowledge. Got it? All right. And then we have the 5, the 4 sense sphere wholesomes. Now, this is the same thing that we have done already. Huh? What we have done in that chart,
Yeah.
have, it is just a summary or a guide, really. So don't get confused. It is the same thing, right? They have written it in quite an odd way, actually. They have written it in a quite odd way. I agree with that. 5, the 4 sense sphere wholesomes with knowledge and the wholesome direct knowledge chitta, right? The 4 sense sphere wholesomes with knowledge and the wholesome direct knowledge chitta. What can they take as object, right? What can they take as object? They can take all objects. They can take all objects, including the 87, right? The 87, the chittas, the chetasikas, the materials, nibbana, and concept as objects, right? Because they are with knowledge here, right? The 4 sense sphere wholesomes, the 4 sense sphere wholesomes with knowledge and the 4 direct knowledge chitta, right? And then we had the 6 with all, the 4 great functionals with knowledge, the functional 5th jhana, direct knowledge chitta, and determine. This can take even the arahanta path and fruit as object, right? Including the rest of the consciousnesses, the 52 chetasikas, the 28 rupas, nibbana, and concept, and all concepts, right? And all concepts, right? Before we move on, let us go back to table number 3.5, please, which is on page number 141. Right? 141. Here, right? Here, let's go from the bottom, right? Bottom of the chart. The 8 supramundane chittas can take only Nibbana as object. It is wholly focused upon Nibbana and nothing else. And nothing else. Right? This is what associates these consciousnesses with the Palasamapatti experience or the experience of the fruit of Nibbana. Right? The peace of Nibbana. Then we have the fine material 15, right? The immaterial first and the third jhanas, right? Which are altogether 21, right? How is the 21 there? Let's count 15 plus
6.
6, right? How does the 6 come? Wholesome, functional, and the resultant. Right? So 15 plus 6, 21, all take concepts, right? Do you understand what concepts are? Anuma? Anyone else now?
Cousin? Is it a cousin concept? No.
Concept is panyapti.
Mhm.
So this is a concept. Here, this is a concept. This is a concept. This is a concept. Everything is a concept. Right? So they don't take. Concepts are phenomena or objects that we have given meaning to. Right? That we have given meaning to. Now, for example, the kasina is something that we have given meaning to. You get it? Panyapti. Do everyone else, Noeline, do you all understand what concepts are? Panyapti. Right?
Yes.
Panyapti. All right. Is there anyone who doesn't understand what concepts are? Samantha, Sujatha, Miri, Lakshmi.
I don't understand exactly, Bhante.
All right. So concepts, now here with regards to, because concept, this word is going to repeat, right? Up until Patana, this word is going to repeat. You're going to run away from concepts. Concepts are, now let's leave aside the concept, right? Let's take the others. We have 89 chittas, 52 chetasikas, 28 rupas, and Nibbana, right? And Nibbana. Now, 89 chittas, can these be concepts?
Yes, because everything is concept. Correct. Everything is concept.
Susan, you can't say to the everything is, well, you can't say everything is concept. There are things which are not concept, right? Because if you say everything is concept, then 89 chittas, 52 chetasikas, 28 rupas, and Nibbana is also concept.
Except Nibbana.
No. We can't say that, right?
Okay.
Concept.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why then your understanding of concept must be clear. Okay, Mala, tell me, why are the 89 chittas not concept?
Concept is something you give a meaning to it and you observe, but the 89 chittas, they are sort of real like.
They are ultimate reality.
Yeah.
Ultimate realities. What are ultimate realities? Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa, Nibbana.
Yeah.
These are ultimate realities, right? Now, for example, now let's say this person called Bhante Pannavamsa, right? Is a concept.
Yeah.
Is a concept. Right? This is the way he eats. This is the way he drinks. This is the way he talks. This is the way he walks. This is his personality and characteristics. All of which have been brought together by Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa. Right? These three have come together and adopted certain phenomena, right, as its own to form this concept. A table, let's take an easy example, a table, right? Now, can a table, no, let's take the iPhone, right? This iPhone, there's steel in this, there's plastic in this, there's gold in this, there's all of these things in this, right? This, if we break it down, can we break it down? We can, right? There is, we can break it down, we can take out the parts, right? The screws, all of what is in here, we can take it apart. After we take it apart, let's take the steel. Can we go deep into the steel? Yes, we can. The steel has its molecules and particles all the way down to a quark and a lepton, right? Then we have the inherent qualities of energy which keeps those particles intact, right? That is on a 28 rupa level, right? Where we take the Mahabhutas, the elements, Patavi, Apo, Tejo, wind, water, fire, earth, right, into play, right? That is where then those elements have what has come together to create this, right? Let's take an easy example, right? Let's take a chicken, right? Now, when a chicken is there in a farm, right? A chicken, we know the difference between a chicken and a rooster, for example, or a chicken and a turkey, right? There is a way a chicken looks like, right? That is how we know that that bird is a chicken. But what if the feathers were plucked off, right? All of that was done, and then what is it? It's meat now. It is cut into pieces or whatnot. It's meat now, right? Now the aspect of a bird has been taken away from it, right? Similarly, for example, if we are to take a human, the skin is put into a different pile, the organs into one, the blood into another, the water into another. All of that is done. Now what we would call it flesh or meat or whatever it is that we would call it. Ultimate realities have inherent, indivisible attributes. That's the important part, remember. Did you understand? Ultimate realities cannot be further broken down.
That's very clear.
Sorry?
Very clear. Thank you.
Yeah. So ultimate realities cannot be further broken down. Concepts can, right? Concepts can be broken down. Now you could take this chair, maybe break the back of this chair and maybe use it as a stool. If it is a chair in its most inherent form, you can't change it, right? You cannot change it. That is what it means. Ultimate realities are not divisible, while concepts or panyapti can be divided, changed, right? It is broken. We are able to break it down. Do we understand? That is what we are taking as concepts here, right? That is what we are taking as, that is the meaning of the word concept. Now, the concept which is referred to when it comes with the immaterial and the fine material is what we use as concept to develop that mind, or what we take as concept to enable ourselves to have that mind. Now, we cannot have an fine material, we cannot experience a fine material consciousness by looking at a chair, can we? It needs to be a specific concept, right? It is that specific concept that is referred to here. Do we understand now? Then what is that specific concept? It is the kasina-born concepts. The concept that we use for samatha meditations. Do we understand? If anyone does not understand, I can explain again. So please signal to me if everyone who understands, or if you don't understand, please signal.
Bhante,
Yes.
it's given in the table 3.6.
Damsiri, why couldn't you tell me that earlier? Yeah. Very bad timing, Damsiri.
No, I didn't want to disturb you.
Oh, thank you very much. So let's look at table 3.6, right? 3.6.
Sorry. You were saying the connection with the casino. I didn't understand that. You were saying the fine material, and then you mentioned to the casino. What's the connection?
Well, the fine material, it is through the kasinas, or the kasinas are the objects of meditation. So it is through that we develop the jhanas, the fine material, and into the immaterial jhanas. That's the connection.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now if we turn to table 3.6 on page number 142, right? We have the first jhana, right? The conceptual objects of the sublime chittas, right? Now, first look at what the sublime chittas are, right? The fine material states from the first jhana to the fifth jhana, then the immaterial states from the first jhana, which is the first jhana, to the and the third jhana, not to the and the third jhana, right? The first jhana and the third jhana. So what are the objects that it takes? What are the conceptual objects that it takes? So we see, it is clear actually. I don't even have to explain it to you, right? The first jhana to the fifth jhana takes kasinas as objects. And then we have the foulness of the body, which is again a conceptual, which also turns into nimitta, right? The body turns into nimitta as well. The breath, which is taken as object by all five jhanas, right? And then the immeasurables, love, compassion, joy. Upekka is taken by the fifth jhana. Then we have infinite space and nothingness, which is taken by the first and the third jhana, right? These are the concepts, right? Just take a look at it and see. All of these bear some sort of nimitta, and we have spoken about this, right? In some form, a nimitta arises, and it is based on this nimitta that we go deeper into it. Got it? Lakshman? Samantha? Chamari, are you all okay?
Yes, I think I'm beginning to understand. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Understand?
Yes, thank you, Bhante.
All right. Samantha, you okay?
Yes, yeah.
Bhante, what you
Concept.
told about Samatha Bhavana, Kasina, I couldn't quite get it. Samatha Bhavana, Kasina for Samatha Bhavana?
Well, Samatha has 40 meditation subjects.
Yes.
Right? The kasinas are part of the kasinas. Out of that 40, 10 of them are kasinas.
Okay.
Right? If you, Lakshmi, if you just Google 40 meditation subjects, you will get the whole list.
Okay.
Right? And actually, even in this book, it's there. I think
Yeah, it is there.
Chapter 10 or 11, it is on the Kammatthana section, the meditation
Right.
subjects.
Yeah.
Right?
So 10 of them are, yeah, so.
Yes. So first 10 of the 40 meditation subjects are kasinas.
Kasinas, okay.
Right? So you can just look at the book, the detailed thing is there, right? But in time we'll be coming into it as well. So shall we move on then? Any questions before we do move on? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Padma.
I want to know what exactly the abhinna is. Is abhin? I know it's a special direct knowledge consciousness. Is that actually a chitta, or is that a part of the fifth jhana chitta, or does it replace the fifth jhana chitta?
The abhinya is a classification of the chitta. it classifies that through this chitta, one is able to ignite, experience, have experiences of miraculous experiences in miraculous ways. Meaning it is a significant, or no, not a significant, it is a specific mental experience that is brought about by that specific consciousness, which is the fifth jhana, right?
Okay.
You need your, why it is specific. Now, why is it the fifth jhana? Because it is only when you reach the fifth jhana that your mind is able to have enough stability and focus to attain to these states where you are able to do these things which are spoken of here.
Right.
Now, for example, if we would take the Yamaka Maha Pratiharya, the twin miracle, right? The twin miracle, how was it performed? It is not an easy exercise, and it is only something which can be done by the Buddha. Why? Because it needed that much of mental training to be able to go into the fifth jhana, come out of the fifth jhana, determine to attain the kasina and put out the water, attain to the fifth jhana again, come out again, the water comes out. And then you go in again, come out, determine, go in, come out, then the fire comes out. You must do this so fast, in and out, in and out. Just imagine. Now, for example, during our Saturday, Sunday sessions, right? If I change the meditation subject, just imagine. I change the meditation subject from Chittanupassana to Vedananupassana to Anapanasati to Kayanupassana every 5 seconds. You will be like, Bhante has gone crazy.
You go crazy too, I think.
Right? Why? It will not be. Actually, in hypnotism, there's something called sensory overload. Right?
Okay.
Through sensory overload, you can put a person into a trance. Right? So then what we do is we get people to look at a certain thing, and then we change that object. Then we get people to count the breath, or to focus to, or to sort of blink fast. We just give them a lot of stuff to do. We do give them multiplications all at a fast stretch. It puts them into a trance, and then you tell them to sleep, and then they fall asleep. Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because when the mind is sort of confused in all of these places, when you give them an object, it takes the object in. Right? It's called sensory overload. That is the name of the technique. Right? The Buddha's sensory overload is so high. Why? He has his ability to focus and do things, right, with keen intellect. We call this Bhikkhu Panya.
Okay.
Keen intellect. That intellect which is demanded to experience, to perform a miracle, right, or to sort of do, actually, I mean, we call it a miracle, but it's actually a sort of a jhanic state, right? A miracle is very Christian. I don't like that word, right? But, you know, at the end, it is actually determining, right? It is a power of determination, right? So strong, so determined, disciplined, undivided, undoubted, that it comes true. For example, this is like, for example, when you have, you know, these great monks, you know, after their metta is very, very strong. They just have to look at you and think about, you know, and radiate metta, you feel it. Right? That is not the result, not some sort of magic power. This is the power of the unhindered, balanced mind. Right? The unhindered, balanced mind. That is brought into fruition by this meditation. And when at the you are able to attain the 5th jhana, you are able to have the power of mind to do this. Understood?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions that we have? Anyone else?
Oh yes, Bhante.
Yes, Mata.
Yeah, sorry. That twin miracle Buddha performed. Why did he perform that, and how? How was it done again?
How was it done, or why was it performed?
Oh, both.
So it was performed to subdue, to sort of subdue. The Sakyans were like, oh, he's a part of us. You know, what is so special about him? You know, he was born to he was born of us. You know, why should we be respecting and worshipping a person he's our equal? Right? So the Buddha wanted to set it straight, to say, look here, I am born of you, but I am not, don't you dare compare me to yourself. In an enlightened way. In an enlightened way. So the enlightened so that is it was to subdue the ego of the Sakyan clan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That is why it was performed. How was it performed? It is performed by essentially adverting to the jhana consciousness, the 5th jhana specifically, exiting the jhana consciousness, determining the miracle, entering the jhana consciousness, and exiting the jhana consciousness. You get it?
Okay. And so twin, so did he multiply?
Because twin miracle is because he performed, now he created waves of fire and water. So these are two different powers. He brought it into one, he did it simultaneously, one after the other. That is why it's called twin miracle.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right? So it is not something that can be done by normal other disciples, even Sariputta Maharaj.
Yes. Yeah. So it doesn't mean were there two Buddhas then? It doesn't mean two Buddhas or anything. No. It's just the water and the fire. Water. Right. Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
All right. Right. So shall we move on then? Do we want to start the other chapter now, or do you want to start it next week? I mean, we do have. We
will have an introduction, or we will go half of it, and then
we can start it. No, because 25 minutes. All right, we'll start it. So, compendium of bases, Vattu Sangaha. In the summary of bases, there are 6 bases. This is page number 144. In a summary of bases, there are 6 bases, namely eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the heart base. All these 2 are found in the sense world. But in the fine material world, 3 bases, nose, tongue, and body, are not found. In the immaterial world, no base exists. Right? No base exists. This is where when there was a certain monk who in Sri Lanka, he spoke of saying that there is a very fine, subtle rupa in the immaterial world. And then Venerable now in Abhidhamma Chapter went on to television and absolutely refuted it, saying it is in no way, there is no way that there can be a rupa in the fine material world. Right? In the fine material world. Why? It is, I'm sorry, rupa in the immaterial world, right? rupa in the immaterial world, right? Why? Because there is no basis in the immaterial world. It is only, right? There's no basis in the immaterial world, right? Now, analysis of bases. In those planes of existence where materiality obtains, chittas and chetasikas arise in dependence on a condition called a base, right? They arise conditioned or dependent upon a condition called a base, Bhaktu. A base is a physical support for the occurrence of a consciousness, right? For the occurrence of a consciousness. Although the first 5 bases coincide with the first 5 doors, namely the sensitive matter of the 5 sense faculties, a base is not identical to a door. Do you understand that? Right? A door by its name is something which welcomes or allows something to enter. A base is a condition that the mind dependent upon which it arises. Now,
Bhante,
yeah.
Can I explain it as it's a seat of the consciousness?
Seat of mind,
yeah,
Siri,
yeah,
usually correct. You can say seat of mind, but the word seat of mind is already taken by the Hadevaktu.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right? So that is why we don't use the term seat of mind. But but of course we can say so. You know, it is, for example, if we would take a pizza base, right?
Yeah.
It is actually in the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
Same concept.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Modern Abhidhamma. All right. So,
Bhante, can you explain that to me again, please?
Pizza base again, then.
No. Pizza limit.
Yeah, pizza. That's very good. Modern Abhidhamma.
So we will go. We will continue. We will finish this paragraph, and then if we have a question, we will answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Although the first 5 bases coincide with the first 5 doors, namely the sensitive matter of the 5 sense faculties. What is the sensitive matter of the 5 sense faculties? Right? The retina. Remember? We spoke about the pasada rupa. The retina, that which allows taste to happen, that which allows sounds to be taken in, right? The sensitive matter, the sukkhama rupa, right? That is what it is mentioned here. A base is not identical with the door, since it plays a different role in the origination of the consciousness. Understood? Right? A different role in the origination of the consciousness. Meaning, this is both to do, now, a door helps an object to be taken by the grasp by the mind, right? For an object to arise within one of the 5 sensory doors. But a base is the base that the mind is dependent upon to arise. Then, right? So this is a, we will go on. You know, this is clear. We will go on. A door is a channel through which the chittas and the chetasikas of a cognitive process gain access to the object. Right? A door, if we did not have the eye door, we will not be able to see.
Correct.
right? The door is where that access happens. Channel through which the chittas and the chaitasicas of a cognitive process gain access to the object. A base is a physical support for the occurrence of a chitta or chaitasika. Did you get it? Right?
Yes.
Anyone with a question?
Yeah, Bhante,
Yeah.
the door is it's a function, and base is a physical or rupa. It's a type of rupa, yeah? Base is materiality.
Vattu.
Vattu.
Which materiality? Which of the 28?
Yeah, it is not of the 20. No.
It is a condition, right? That is
Both are conditions then.
it's a condition.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas, for example, now, if we take the door is material. You see, now pasada rupa, pasada rupa, is the door.
Yeah, it's one of the rupas actually.
28.
Yeah.
Right. Whilst the vattu is a condition. Right. We will understand. We will go through this. All right. And then we will answer more questions. Right. The difference, a base is a physical support for the occurrence of chittas and chaitasikas. The difference in functions, right? See, the difference in functions implies important consequences. In an Ido process, many types of chittas, apart from the eye consciousness, occur with eye sensitivity as their do. Again, I'm reading that again, right? In an Ido process, many types of chittas, apart from eye consciousness, many chittas other than the eye consciousness, right? Many chittas other than the eye consciousness occur with eye sensitivity as their do. But eye sensitivity is the base solely of the eye consciousness. I can sense the confusion in the room.
No, it's
deafening. It is deafening.
Yeah.
We will have to explain it more. Yes?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. We will keep reading and then we'll come back to it. In an Ido process, many types of chittas, apart from the eye consciousness, occur with eye sensitivity as their do. But eye sensitivity is the base solely of eye consciousness, not of the other chittas that utilize the Ido, right? That utilize the Ido. In relation to the doors, various chittas that function as rebirth, linking, bhavanga, and death consciousness are considered do-freed, that is, as occurring without any do. But in planes of existence which include both mind and matter, no chitta occur without a base. Right? No chitta occurs without a base. In the present section, the author will enumerate the base and classify chittas by way of the base on which they depend. Right? Now let's go back to the beginning. The different, which is, we'll read from the analysis of bases itself. Okay? In those planes of existence, now follow closely. In those planes of existence, where materiality obtains, chittas and chetasikas arise in dependence on a condition called a base. Chittas and chetasikas arise. I want you to highlight or please note the word dependence. This is the key word, dependence, right? Dependence. Dependence on a condition called base. A base is a physical support, for the occurrence of a consciousness. Although the first 5 bases coincide with the first 5 doors, namely the sensitive matter of the 5 sense faculties, right? What are the 5 sense faculties? Ear, nose, tongue, eyes, and the body. Right? These are the 5 sense faculties. We know this has a rupa that helps it. Those are the doors. The eye has the retina. Without the retina, you will not be able to see, catch the light, which will give the arising of the rupa of the object, the rupa that will enable you to see, right? That. Now, a base is a physical support for the occurrence of the consciousness. Although the first 5 bases coincide with the first 5 doors, namely the sensitive matter of the 5 sense faculties, a base is not identical with a door, since it plays a different role in the origination of consciousness. It plays a different role in the origination of consciousness, right? Let's think of now, go back to our lesson with the ahetukas, right? With the ahetuka consciousness is the I consciousness, right? Where does the I consciousness arise? The I consciousness arises at the eye. Where in the eye? The retina. Right? Now this I consciousness arises because of 4 reasons, or when 4 factors are present. What are the 4 factors? There must be a visual object. There must be light. There must be the pasada rupa, and there must be mansikara or attention.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Did everyone get it? Anoma, you look a bit lost. Did you get it, Anoma?
Yes.
Okay, all right. When these 4 are present, then we see. When these 4 conditions are present, we are able to see. That is when a chakku vinyana arises. Right? Now that is by way of door. Now, for a eye base, how does the eye base happen? Now, eye base is what allows for that consciousness which arose as a chakku vinyana to arise, the standing on the seat which allows this consciousness to the potential for the chakku vinyana to arise, is because this grounding is there. Example, imagine now you have the landing, the flow, right? But there is a door. Through the door, you can see or you can go and take something or whatnot. But the flow is not there. Right? How will you walk to the door? It is somewhat like that. Right? The flow is the base by which, now these are 2 functions. The door allows you to exit from the house. But for you to step through the door, you need the flow.
Yeah.
Right? It essentially is a part of the, you could say that it is part of the cognitive process, but it does 2 wholly different functions. Right? It does 2 wholly different functions. Right? Let us read Continue reading, right? A base is not identical with a door. It is not identical. Since it plays a different role in the origination of the consciousness. Since it plays a different role in the origination of the consciousness. Now remember, the pasada, the visual, the chakku vinyana arose when 3-4 factors were present. If one of these were not present, it would not arise. You see, now that chakku vinyana arose with different conditions, whereas this base operates in different conditions. Do you get it? Okay, that is what it is saying.
Oh, Bhante?
Yes, Samantha.
Sorry, just quickly. You know the 4 things. Did you mention, is it contact? Do you have to have contact? One of the important 4 things. Passa. The object.
The object. There must be an object present. There must be the pasada,
light.
Rupa present. There must be light present, and there is mansikar present. There is no contact. Is not when is contact. No, passa is not mentioned. There are only 4.
Oh,
Right?
Okay. Okay, I thought contact was one of it. Passa.
No, look here. Light.
Oh.
Light is present. How does this travel? How does sound travel?
Through waves.
Now, for example, you cannot now, if I'm looking at the screen, I don't like you, Samantha, right? I can't, but I still see your name here. Do you get it? I can't objectively remove you from a fraction of the screen, no. Right? As long as I am looking at the Zoom screen, I will see you there. You get it? So, now,
but then you got to have contact, isn't it? Sometimes you can look at something.
The contact naturally occurs with the pasada rupa.
Oh, right.
Okay. Miri says, see page 151, it explains it. This is in the future.
Oh, right.
It explains it in the future.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll have a look. Yeah, cheers.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, all right.
Bhante, can I ask?
Yeah.
You said 4 conditions, yeah?
Yeah.
So that means you have to have chakku vinyane, or no? What are the 4 conditions you said?
The 4 conditions are.
Visual object.
The 4 conditions are the object. The object, the pasada rupa, mansikara, and light. 4 chakra.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Because of that, that enables chakku vinyana to arise.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
A door is a channel through which the chittas and the chetasikas of a cognitive process gain access to an object. A base is a physical support for the occurrence of chittas and chetasikas. Physical support for the occurrence of chittas and chetasikas. For chittas and chetasikas, if we are to say that chittas and chetasikas are bouncers, or they are sort of, it needs a platform to sort of bounce on, that platform is the base. Right? That platform is the base. Right? So, the difference in functions implies important consequences. In an I-Do process, many types of chittas apart from I consciousness occur with I sensitivity as their do. In an I-Do process, many types of chittas apart from eye consciousness occur with eye sensitivity as their do. Again, the difference in functions implies important consequences. In an I-do process, many types of chittas apart from, in an I-do process, in an I-do process, now remember the important word here is process. It is talking about a chakku viti, right? That is important point to note. It is talking about a mind process which cognizes a object grasped by the eye or a chakku vinyana consciousness, right? That is the important part. I-do process, in an I-do process, many types of chittas, no, manodwara vajana, right? Javana chittas, tadalambana, right? Or there are many chittas apart from the eye consciousness, isn't it? Then the bhavanga chittas, bhavanga cheta, upacheda, all of that. You see, that is what it's referring to. We have not come to this actually.
Yeah.
You will know it in the future. You will know it in the future, right? Now, in an I-do process, many types of chittas apart from the eye consciousness occur with eye sensitivity as their do, meaning taking the object that was grasped through the eye sensitivity, many types of chittas flourish in a I-do process. Tirnad, did you understand? Right? I'll repeat that again. Many types of chittas flourish depending upon an object taken by the eye consciousness, right? In a I-do process or a I-do mind process. All right? In an I-do mind process. Did you understand? Right? Yeah. Which means that many types of other consciousnesses take this object to process this object, yet it takes this object. Right? Now, did you understand that sentence? Everyone, any questions? Lakshman? Samantha, Sujata? Miri? Lakshman?
I'm
Yes,
not
sorry.
Bhante, I'm not asking questions. I'm following you and I'm writing down notes.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have a book.
Let's just join the class. Okay. Lakshman.
Yes.
Yes, Bhante, did you say other type of chittas like bhavanga and tadaramana?
Yes, meaning these are other consciousnesses and chetasikas, right? There's tadalambana, there's chittas called javana, there is the manodwara vajana, then there's a panchadwara vajana, then there are the bhavanga cheta, bhavanga upacheda consciousnesses. All of these consciousnesses, actually the bhavanga cheta, bhavanga chalana, bhavanga upacheda doesn't take the eye consciousness, right? Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. Does it though? It does take eye consciousness.
It does, yes.
Wait, I've confused myself now. Hold on. No. It doesn't take the eye consciousness. Bhavanga Cheda, we will come to that. We will come. It is disturbed by the eye consciousness.
Bhante, are you talking about the 67 chittas? When you mentioned all those chittas?
I'm talking about all the chittas that fulfill the Javanga function. What is it? Javana function.
Javana.
The Javana function, right? I'm talking about all the chittas, the Manodwara Vajana chittas, the Panchadwara Vajana chittas, all the chittas which perform the Javana function, right? Have we done this? Done the chittas that perform Javana functions and all of that?
We haven't done.
No, we have done 54 functions, Bhante.
We have done the 54 functions.
Yeah.
We will come to this, but know that there are other in the VT process. If there's a mind, or if there is a process of mind to get to know a visual object, it is not only the chakku vinyana, there are other things, right? Now, bread is usually flour, but there is salt in it, there's yeast in it, there's eggs in it, there's milk in it sometimes, right? You can put nuts and seeds into it. But at the end of the day, the bread is the flour. Do you get it? That's what we are talking about.
Bhante, is this referring to the 17 thought moment things, basically?
Yes, yes, it is.
The chitta process. We haven't done that yet. Okay.
Done that
in the future. Yeah.
So, I don't know why again this is coming before all of that.
Yeah.
Right. But we'll go ahead, right? In an I-do process, many types of chittas, apart from the I consciousness, occur with I sensitivity as their do. Right? Now that part is understood. Yes? Yeah. Which means that there are other consciousness taking the I sensitivity as its object, right? As its do. But I sensitivity is the base solely of I consciousness. I sensitivity is the base for I consciousness for us. Now this is both speaking about I sensitivity. Now in the dwara, in the do function, I sensitivity, right? I sensitivity is taken as the do. Like for example, if I'm to take this, it takes to take the object, or the light shines and we take the object, right? This is the do function, right? Through the do, right? The light shines and through this I take the object. But when it comes to the function of base, what happens is, it is because of this I sensitivity that the mind or the chakku vinyana is able to arise. Yes. It's talking about two different things. Do you understand? No. Anyone who doesn't? Devika?
Understood.
Understood. Who didn't understand? Is there anyone who didn't understand? Anoma. Anything specific? I will explain it again. Is there anything specific that you didn't understand, Anoma?
No, Bhante, the last bit, it was not clear.
Okay. So this is to say, right, so this is to say, when we are talking about the process of dwara, do, right? A do is, now for example, because the eye is there, the light is able to shine, right? That is a do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there, the light shines, and because of the light and the mansikara and the object, we see. That is how the do works. So the do is like this, right? Right? It is through the do that we welcome these objects, right? So just imagine this hole and everything which comes through it, right? The base is now not this sort of circle here. I mean, it's not, the base is not what comes through the circle. It is the circle.
Now.
Do you get it now?
Yes, got it. Thank you, Bhante.
It is the circle. It is based on this circle that consciousness can arise.
Yeah.
Whereas in the dwara, it is all because of this circle, because of this hole, the light entered, allowing the object to be grasped. Understood?
Yes, Bhante, thank you.
Because the ear is there and the eardrum is there, the sound waves were tracked. The sound waves can't be tracked by the eye, no? It must come through the ear because the sound is there. Because of that, that was allowed. But now the dwara is the dwara which allows for the absorption of the sound waves is the eardrum, right? That is the pasada roop of the ear, right? The base of the ear is also the pasada rupa, but that is talking with regard to the ability or what allows the consciousness to arise. The Dora talks about what allows the object to be grasped.
Thank you, Bhante. Now it's clear.
Get it?
Yeah. Yes, Bhante. Thank you.
Shall we continue reading? Yeah. The different in the functions implies important consequences. In an
Sorry, what page are we? Sorry, I lost the page.
144.
Thank you.
The different in functions implies important consequences. In an I-Do process, many types of chittas apart from I consciousness occurs with I sensitivity as their do. But I sensitivity is the base. I sensitivity is the base. Circle that or highlight it or underline it there, right? I sensitivity is the base solely of I consciousness, right? Not of the other chittas that utilize the I do, right? Not of the other chittas that utilize the I do, right? The other chittas, they utilize the I do, but it has nothing to do with the base of the consciousness that consciousness arises, right? Right? It is like there is one man who is wholly responsible for something. For example, taking the steel ore from the ground, but all of us are making use of it. We have no authority or claim over the steel production. There is one man who is doing that. Do you get it? It is somewhat like that, but we all make use of steel, right? It is like that, right? But I sensitivity is the base solely of the I consciousness, not of the other chittas that utilize the I do. In relation to the doors, the various chittas that function as rebirth linking bhavanga and death consciousness are door freed, that is, as occurring without a door. But in planes of existence which include both mind and matter, no chittas occur without a base. All chittas will have a base in a place where there's mind and matter, right? In the present section, the author will enumerate the bases and classify chittas as a way of the bases on which they depend. We will do that next week. Okay? Okay, I'm tired. It's good time for me to go to bed.
Thank you.
All right. So, questions that you would like to ask before we
The last line you said, no chittas arise without a base.
In a place, in an existence with mind and matter, no chitta arises without a base.
Yeah, but in the immaterial world, this says no base.
Mind and matter.
Essential.
Immaterial, in the immaterial world, right? There is no matter, no, right? If there is mind and matter, there will always be a base, right?
Yeah, so this is immaterial world.
Yes, this is the immaterial world. No, immaterial world is immaterial, no material, right? This is talking about mind and matter. If the world, now the human plane has mind and matter, so we will always have a base, right? Okay, we will go into it next time.
Okay, Bhante, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
And you will upload the lesson
tonight. Yeah, I'll put it to upload.
Thank you, Bhante.
All right.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
I did close the session yet. Are you in a hurry to go?
Yeah, no, I'm not in a hurry.
So no questions regarding
5 o'clock.
Huh? No questions?
No.
Okay.
No, for now, no.
So you can think about it.
So far.
You have. All right. All right. Thank you very much. I will see you all on Wednesday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Okay.